Hello, welcome to 1 year on testosterone. I said it, it's real. In fact, it's actually like 1 year and what's the date? I'm trying to see the date. It's the 7th, so it's like 1 year and 10 days. Slightly different filming setup today. My camera, very professionally, is balanced on a glass with a book on top and then leaning against a pot of Brie cream. So I do have a pride flag in the corner though, and all the mess on top of my wardrobe, so professional, I would say. And I have some notes as well, so if I look that way, that is why. But yeah, very exciting. I am at the landmark. I will say, if anybody is watching this as the first video that they've seen from me, if anybody watches my videos, a few people do, then I'm saying 1 year on T. I technically was on one pump, which would be kind of considered like half a dose, I guess. Depends on the person, but for me, half a dose for 5 months, and then I went up to 2 pumps, and then I've been on 2 months for the remaining. Sorry, my nose is like super blocked, so you could probably hear that as well. For the remaining maths 7 plus I've got a slight migraine to do it. You can do the maths yourself. My brain doesn't work when my head has been hurting. But yeah, anyway, 5 months on half dose, and then the rest have been on full dose. So yeah, and there was definitely like a speed up in my progression once I went into the full dose. So yes, but I am here to report how the entire year has been. First of all, I will say it is a little bit disappointing, but I want to be honest about it so that people don't feel like they're the only one experiencing this if they do, but also hopefully you won't. My blood moon, as I like to call it, I'm sure you know what I mean, the monthly event that I do not like, has not completely stopped for me. Pretty, it was absolutely terrible. Like agonizing pain would stop me from working, like 8 days long. So massive changes from that. It's a lot lighter, it's not every month. Yeah, it's been a hit and miss, but I have not stopped completely, sadly. In fact, part of the reason why I'm quite late to record this is because on the 1 year mark I was bleeding, so I was like, this sucks. So I didn't feel good about that. But I want to put it out there because you are still valid if that is happening to you, and it's not fun. It can be very dysphoric, but it doesn't make you any less of a masculine person, or you know, however you identify. So there we go. That's why I'm being honest about that. It's not ideal, but I'm surviving. And maybe I'll find a solution to it one day. I don't know, my body just seems really persistent, so there we go. Yeah, still no sign of facial hair for me personally, 1 year in, but as I say, 5 months of that was half dose. Yeah, I mean, my peach fuzz on above my lip, you can't see it on camera, but it's just darker. But it's not like there's no real facial hair at all, like still very smooth. Although speaking of like smooth, my skin has calmed down a lot actually. I was really spotty around the 10 to 11 months mark, but that has actually improved a lot. But then I've also started cleaning my face properly, and I've got like a whole skincare routine now, which I didn't have before because I kind of felt like I didn't need it, whereas now I actually take care of my skin because it does need it. I do get spotty if I don't take care of my skin now, so that is a change, but that is fine with me. More than worth it. Yeah, still definitely getting more body hair, especially noticeable kind of like on my arms at the moment. I've written down, it's really funny how throughout my time on T, and I've not really heard this experience from other people, so it might be a bit unique to me, I'm not really sure, but my body hair very much like started at the bottom and then worked up. So it was literally like my ankles where I first started, not my feet actually, but my ankles where I first started noticing that I was getting a lot hairier, and just like darker hair as well. And then it kind of traveled like up to like my full calf, and then my thighs around like 7 months. And then I eventually got a happy trail, and now I'm getting slightly darker hair on my arms. It's still not a massive amount, I will say. I don't have any chest hair. I don't think my eyebrows are much more much more bushy than they were pre-T, which is a bit of a shame, but maybe that'll change in time. But yeah, that's been quite funny, like literally just going whoop. But I've really enjoyed it. It's been unexpectedly enjoyable and euphoric, so that's been really really cool. Because actually, it wasn't something that I was totally sure about at first. I was like, oh, how will this be? But yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and I do think my voice is still lowering a little bit. It does vary a little bit, does fluctuate. Still, it's not completely stable still. I can tell, particularly when I try and sing. And I also just feel like I'm still kind of getting to know it, particularly musically. But also, I work in housekeeping, and sometimes I haven't talked for like 3 hours because I've just been cleaning rooms. And then I start doing stayovers, which is like where I go and say, do you want any like coffee or bins emptied, what have you. But because I haven't spoken in a while and I have to knock on the door and then say housekeeping, I often find that like I've got no idea how my voice is going to come out of my mouth. So it's either like housekeeping or it's like housekeeping. Okay, it's not that drastic, but it's like it's quite entertaining because sometimes like my voice has a new power to it that I don't quite know how to control fully yet, which is really funny. So that's what happens. Is it like comes out with a lot more gusto than I was expecting. I'm like, whoa. But that's a fun, quirky thing. I love it. It's great. So yeah, still getting used to it, but in a very positive, fun, exploratory way. So yeah, and if it's still getting deeper, that would be great. But also, I'm trying to work on like larynx and stuff like that because that also has a really significant impact. But I went into a cafe today, didn't think about lowering my voice or larynx or anything like that, and they said, "Sir, yes," which is really, really, really validating and euphoric, and I'm so happy about that. It is different for everybody. It took me a little while to get to that point, and it did take a little bit of voice training as well. And I do still have to watch my voice a little bit because otherwise I do go wee. But yeah, I actually get voice breaks if I go too high now, so can't go too crazy. What else is there? Yeah, I've written down that I think the biggest drop in my voice happened between 6 and 7 months on T. However, of course, that was also the time when I had kind of been on full dose for about a month, so there is also that to consider. So it's not totally transparent, kind of how long it would have been if I would started on full dose right from the beginning. But I think that is about it, really. I mean, all in all, this year has flown by. It's very difficult to like compare like now to pre-T because the progress is so gradual. It's such a gradual process. In fact, I've noticed that like if I introduce myself to a stranger, typically they'll read me as a guy, whereas somebody who I've not come out to but has known me since before T will still read me as a woman. So and like not say anything. There are quite a lot of people in my life like that where I'm just like I haven't come out to them and it's like, oh, okay, still a woman to you, interesting. It's a very strange experience transitioning, it really is. But I have gained so much confidence over the last year. I have just felt so much more like myself, like being able to speak and hearing my voice and getting really excited and like singing songs like in the male's role and pitch and everything. It's just like, oh, yes. So that's about it, really. Very exciting. Gonna keep going. Really hoping for some facial hair at some point in my life, maybe. I should do. I've got the genetics for it. I've also got the genetics for male balding, so yay. Not yay, but so far I'm okay. I've always had like this indent bit. Oh, lighting. Hello. But yeah, that's about it. I'll stop here because that's 10 minutes, which is long enough. But yeah, I love Testogel. Thank you. Mwah. All of my love to Testogel. Where is it? Oh, it's fallen down. I can't bother to get it. But anyway, yes, it's amazing. Feel free to ask any questions. What, am I a real YouTuber? Subscribe. No, don't do that. That would make me a real YouTuber. I'm definitely not one of those. Okay. Okay, I'm rambling, so I'm gonna stop recording because this is dangerous. But yay, happy 1 year. I guess maybe I'll do another update at like a year and a half. I don't know. This is kind of like the landmark. There's no point in doing like 13 months. So yeah, I guess I'll see you again in 6 months. At which point I will have had top surgery. I might make a video for that. We'll see. Okay, bye bye.